If you total your car like I did, and you're looking to fix it and not deal with a frame shop or just don't have the means to do that, there's definitely ways around it. And I'm gonna show you how we did it. We fixed a Formula Drift car in our shop in just a day. We are post Formula Drift Indy. The track was actually sweet. It was just, there was a fine line between a sweet run and just too much. So what we ended up with is a pretty wrecked car. So we must have hit the wall just not square enough where the frame rails are pushed literally 6 to 8 inches over. Both frame rails pretty much look like this. They're crinkled, and I believe it's bent further back than that as well. So both sides are like that. And then because everything's tied together, one, it does help lessen the blow to some degree, but it also does carry the weight into everything. So both strut towers are like pushed in. This one is definitely pushed over towards that way because of the fact we have 20 degrees of camber on the right front. Right in the same spot, the turbo elbow, which already had a casualty from Atlanta, got damaged even more. I do believe the whole engine shifted back, and that might have not like been bent, it just from the sheer hit of it shifted. And then this strut tower as well, along with the frame rail, again, everything's pushed over. The whole kind of horn itself that everything mounts to is moved. So the front of this car has been hit enough times to where there's damage that was old stuff and now we have new stuff. So the only thing that we can kind of do to kind of get a sense of it is pull the whole front off, pull the engine out, and just look at it. See what's crinkled, what's not. And we also luckily have 2 other cars, E36s here, just even measure off of. In a perfect world, this car maybe only goes like to Vegas and then gets retired. So, but we still want it to perform at Vegas because we're competing for the championship. So we're gonna look at, we got a porta power, we got some heavy equipment, we got some tools, there's some people coming to help. We're gonna see how straight we can get the car and how close we can get it. And then we're gonna gauge what we're gonna cut off, if anything, to put back on the car.
Just a pulley, yeah.
Custom socket for removing?
Actually?
Yeah, because when the intercooler's in here, you can't get in there with a long one or a short one. So we just cut one off so it fits in there perfect.
You're amazing. Look at you, Bill Talaska.
All right, so we already cut off, what you're seeing right here, as you can see, we already cut off basically the front frame horns and the front jack point. So you didn't see, but the front jack point got pushed so far back that it hit the power steering pulley that's on the crank of the motor and it grounded it out. If this was any deeper and it did more damage to that, it would have been really unfortunate. So luckily Dan Burkett gave us a fresh Red Industries power steering pulley to work with his KRC pump kit. So we're gonna swap this while we can still hold everything with the trans, so new. This is my hunch, because I had hit the wall. I'm sure my beautiful editor can play the clip. When I pull a handbrake on the bank, the car would kind of at angle back up, and I was touching the wall before in other runs. But this time when I hit it, I think I hit it in a way, I didn't like hit it on the corner. So this folds over, and I didn't hit it like, so the middle bent in. It was too strong. This needed to be like, we have another bash bar that's thinner material that it maybe could have been. It hit like square like this, and it just pushed in, so it just didn't fold like it was supposed to. So potentially our bash bar design also did not help the cause at all. So we have these this version, but with the banked wall, we really should have been potentially running our thin wall 1-inch version. So, well, lesson learned, I guess, if you can call it that.
I didn't know a bash bar could be too strong.
Yeah, we want it to fold.
Oh, you can see it bent.
Yeah.
See the.
My hands are stained with the ink of your shadow. We breathe the same air, but you taste like a ritual. In the quiet dark, my pulse becomes a prayer. I am beautifully ruined, floating in your air.
What are you doing, Bill Talaska?
Taking the body panels off, see how much damage there is.
Do you find anything yet?
Yeah.
You are the gravity that snaps my bones. A holy fever in these cathedrals of stone. I let you tear me open, bleed the colors out, just to hear you speak my name above the doubt. Take the offering, take the breath from my chest. I am drowning in the safety of your wreckage. Tie me to the altar, call me yours, call me home. I will love you till the marrow turns to stone. Turns to stone. Fall into the depths.
Well, after further review by using my eyes, it's pretty rough. Unfortunately, instead of just bending here before the subframe mounts, it moved all of it. So the frame rail starting behind the subframe mount is pushed over. So as you can see, this whole thing it's starting to bend right here, right where the frame rail goes independent forward. The more stuff you take off, the more extreme it gets. If you line up basically straight with this, you can see how pushed over it is. And what my dad and I were just talking about, that the bummer is that because it's both pushed the same way, it's tricky because what do you push or what do you pull on? This side needs to get pulled out this way, and same thing, this side needs to get pulled that way. So depending on what part of your car is damaged, for us it was basically the front of the strut tower, which I feel like is kind of the most common. We put basically from the strut tower sideways, and you don't need to lift for this, you can do this right on the ground, is I put a D-ring on the floor, which we'll talk about that, basically a foot behind the strut tower, foot in front of the strut tower on both sides, and starting there. There is always the option to add more, which we'll cover. I added one up in the front over here to hold this shock tower specifically, and I also added one in the car to hold the car back, but establishing where you're going to put these points first is important. All you have to get is, these are D-rings that are just for a trailer, just 2-point D-rings, and you honestly could do multiple different things, but the 2 is all you need. And then we use 3/8 by 3 3/4 wedge anchors. If you have any idea how thick your concrete is, it doesn't really matter. And then usually a drill bit that goes with it for a hammer drill. And what we do is mark it in the spots that we just kind of established and talked about. Ideally, if you can, position these in a spot that you could leave it there. There are anchors that go recess and thread into, but I don't trust them as much. We like to use these ones with the studs come out. These right here are in an okay spot enough where we'll probably just leave them. But if for any reason that you don't want these studs sticking out the bottom of your concrete, when you're done straightening your car, you can just pound them down into the concrete, and then it's just not a big deal. Once you have all your points set and you kind of can get an idea of where you have to pull on your car, then it's just 2-inch ratchet straps from there. We do have the option of using a porta power, which did help a lot to safely pull. 2-inch ratchet straps can only do so much. In a perfect world, you use the ratchet straps to hold the car. So instead of using the ratchet strap to actually do the pulling, you use the ratchet straps on certain D-rings to make sure the car is not going to move, and then you use whatever remaining D-rings you have and the porta power to either push or pull the car back into position.
So we can do this and put the porta power on and push. You know, like put it like right here,
Yeah.
or put it like in the gut right here, from here to there, and push.
Yeah, we need to put the strength back in it because it crinkled so hard. We need to kind of beat all that back in and weld it together and then plate it. And even the strut tower itself, we're not 100% sure on height, but like it's within like a 16th. That is well within the Talaska tolerance.
Ooh, Talaska tolerance.
The driver's side is a little bit, this one was a little bit funkier. So we pulled the frame rail as straight as we could. There's a little, I would love to get it a little bit more, but from tower to tower where like the engine mount sits, the measurement's the same as one of our untouched coupes. So it's not bad. The tower itself here is in a really good position left to right. It's just back like a 1/4 of an inch. So we want to pull it forward a little bit. But this is by no means going to be good as new, but we're getting closer to the car getting put back together.
You're happy?
We're closer than we were before.
26 3/4. 20 9/16. This was the side that was f***ed up. 20 7/16.
It's back.
It's back. It's right on the f***ing money. I mean, it'll fit, but
It would bolt out. Update, car is, yeah, sick. We got it to a point, obviously you got the updates of where it was getting closer, where there was a little bit of concern about this side. So we did, just we're not pulling the strut tower, is we took like an old top cap from the Yellow Speed coils and bolted it in, so we're pulling on the aluminum, not on the steel. And we used the pull cylinder on the porta power to pull this in and up to here, and then also pull this back away from what we affected there. So what we ended up with is some pretty straight frame rails. The big thing when beating all this stuff back or pulling it is a lot of the stuff holding it is the pinch welds and like even the sheet metal, even though it's not crazy strong. So when we pulled everything back and beat all the sheet metal back flat, that stayed it so it didn't bind back, and the subframe's in it. So now that the subframe's in, the car is straight enough, and honestly, the front of this car has seen a lot of accidents, so it never was necessarily perfect. So we're like in that range of good enough. So tomorrow what we're gonna do, because there's tons of creases, there's tons of stuff kind of like throughout the bay, and some two in the wheel well. We're gonna come in, we're gonna remove all the paint at all the spots we want to weld up, and we're basically gonna stitch the whole engine bay back together. And I mean, realistically, like depending on how long that takes, like we could be putting the engine and stuff back in, you know, after tomorrow.
Can we take a moment for how hot this man is? Look at him. Oh, yeah.
And my broken shoes.
Oh, yeah. Show us the flappy shoes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. They're both flappy. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Bye.
Okay, so quick little update. We actually were able to pull this one a little bit straighter. It was the only one that was kind of weird, and we did put a D-ring in the back of the car to hold it, so we did end up pulling the strut tower further forward. So we're closer all together. The thing that I didn't cover at all, but now is on here, is we did cap the ends of the frame rail. So instead of cutting it off back far enough, because these bars, the ones we cut off of the crash structure, actually fit back in, so I don't have to remake these. So instead of cutting this back and redoing it, we just added plates to the cap. So I got to weld the bottom of these and then we're pretty much done. And then as far as positioning of putting the new radiator saddle on and kind of fitting everything around, because we know everything's still shifted over a little bit, is what to do. Fenders, hood, the whole thing. I might even throw the engine in, just basically get the whole front assembled so I can see where everything lines up before we weld in basically the jack point bar, which we have the old one, and then the crash structure from the tower to the frame rail. Be resourceful to some degree, I think, is like pretty beneficial. It's also a race car. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for like these perfect body line gaps and stuff, and it's fiberglass, so we can make it work. So I feel good about the car that we're gonna bring into Vegas. There's still a lot more work that'll be in later videos, but this is we're rebuilding it.